And we are starting off tonight with a big question. Did Moizu use lies to win his election and seize power? Did a fake letter aimed at whipping anti-India sentiments help Moizu secure the top job in the Maldives? A new report blows the lid off his party's attempts to spread biased, manipulated narrative against India in the run-up to the elections. Let me break it all down for you. The revelation comes from the European Election Observation Mission's report. It was published yesterday and it is incriminating. It categorically talks about multiple disinformation attempts made online by the ruling coalition of the Maldives. I'm talking about the President Moizu-led PPM-PNC coalition that is now in power in the Maldives. The EU-EOM report states, and I'm quoting, their campaign included anti-Indian sentiments based on fears of Indian influences and anxiety regarding a presence of Indian military personnel inside the country. This theme was subject to multiple online disinformation attempts. The Maldives presidential elections took place on September 9 and 30th, and this report was prepared following an 11-week-long observation. It says that the coalition that is now in power tried to spread falsehood around anti-India themes throughout the election cycle. We knew about the manipulation of facts that took place during the Maldivian elections, but this EU report is the final nail in the coffin. Remember last year, a fake letter attributed to India's External Affairs Minister S. Jaishankar was circulated on Maldivian social media, and this fake letter claimed that New Delhi had requested two 15-hectare plots in the Maldives with full sovereignty. The letter claimed that in return, India would be willing to waive Maldivian debt. However, the Indian government promptly issued a statement calling this letter fake. The High Commission of India in the Maldives had said unequivocally rejects and condemns this malicious attempt to malign and disturb India-Maldives relations. But this is one of the many examples as far as this disinformation campaign initiated by PPM-PNC against India is concerned. And the thing is, it worked big time for Moizu. He managed to win the elections, and now the India-Maldives relationship is witnessing a rapid decline. Moizu, who has a pro-China stance, took office in November last year. He won on his India Out campaign, under which he projected New Delhi's huge influence as a threat to the Maldives' sovereignty. Since coming to power, in fact, his government has asked dozens of locally based Indian military personnel to leave. Meanwhile, Moizu's government is talking up opportunities for Chinese investors, and this is despite the Maldives being heavily indebted to Beijing. Now, China and Maldives under Moizu have upgraded their relationship after casting India as a threat to sovereignty. The Maldivian president has signed several new agreements with China, its largest creditor. On Wednesday, the deals were signed. They range from climate to infrastructure. No details about the value of the deals have been shared by either side, but it set the stage for further Chinese investment in the Indian Ocean archipelago. During the talks, in fact, Chinese President Xi Jinping called Moizu an old friend. Meanwhile, Moizu expressed gratitude for China's role in the Maldives' economic success. Try as they may to show that all is well, but the ground reality paints a completely different picture. You see, the World Bank in a report has warned that further cozying up to China could spell trouble for the Maldives. The country owes around $1.37 billion to Beijing. That represents 20% of its public debt. China is the Maldives' biggest bilateral creditor, ahead of Saudi Arabia and India. Maldives owes $124 million to Saudi Arabia and $123 million to India. If anything, the latest diplomatic row between India and the Maldives is just another example of the deep-seated anti-India sentiment that the ruling alliance harbors. Just look at what triggered the flare-up. Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi visited Lakshadweep. Some local media users project this Indian archipelago as an alternate tourism destination for Indians in place of the Maldives. But bear in mind, there was no mention or reference to the Maldives or any other island nation in the Indian Prime Minister's posts regarding his visit to Lakshadweep. Yet, the scene of Indian Prime Minister appreciating the beauty of the Indian archipelago appeared to offend the Maldivian politicians. And soon, the conversation gave way to an avalanche of controversy. Maldivian ministers passed derogatory comments against Prime Minister Modi and India. They slammed this discourse of Lakshadweep replacing the Maldives in tourism. And following the uproar, the Maldivian Foreign Ministry went on damage control mode. They said that the comments made by the ministers were personal and did not represent the views of the government. But the damage, you see, was already done. India remains the main source of tourism for the Maldives, by the way. The Indian tourist count has dipped in the Maldives now. According to Indian media, in 2023, over 2 lakh Indians visited the Maldives, but following the controversy, the daily average of the Indian visitors has dropped to around 400 this year. In the first week of January, only 3,000 Indian tourists have visited the Maldives so far, and travel agents are concerned. President Moizu has fractured Maldives' relationship with India. He even broke the long tradition of Maldivian presidents visiting India as their first official trip after he won the elections. Instead, he has gone to Beijing, where he has waxed lyrical about President Xi Jinping. The proof is in the pudding. The Maldives will do well to work on fixing its house and the way it holds future elections. That is exactly what the EU-EOM recommends for the Maldives. It suggests Mali to take fact-checking initiatives so that it can combat misinformation. WION now available in your country. Download the app now. Get all the updates on the move.